Hey, what's up, my little Tattle Tells? How y'all doing today? Listen, new information on the Shanquella Robinson case. The Attorney General of Mexico, Daniel De La Rosa, has spoken, as well as the head of the Justice Department has come down and said some key things. But one of the more important takeaways before we get into the details, baby, they're saying the FBI has already interviewed the Cabo 6. But guess what? Mexico wants a bite at the apple. They also want the FBI to share the interviews that they have done, if these reports can be believed. You guys, let's get into this, because at this point, I've been saying this for, not a while, but the past couple of weeks. One, why is the U.S. government not doing anything? Why are they not refusing extradition? And why are they not putting their foot in the Cabo 6s? Well, I'm here to tell you, it seems like the FBI is looking at this stuff saying, why as well. We have to consider the point that the FBI is taking so long to move because they're trying to figure out whether the Cabo 6 should be tried on American soil or in Mexico soil. Now, I've made no secret of the fact that I have come to the conclusion, I 100% believe that this should be tried on America's soil. Why? So we can stop this game of telephone. While I know that everybody wants the Cabo 6 to go away to a Mexican prison because they are renowned, baby, have you ever seen Oz? State prisons are no joke, right? Now, she would be brought up on federal charges, but baby, even federal prisons, if you're not going to a club fed, are no joke. You can serve your time in a state prison, if I'm not mistaken. And what's more, we know America's laws. We know the procedures. Our media updates people on findings. Our media leaks. It seems like Mexico plays things close to the chest. And also, they have different customs there. And I'm sure Mexico will give justice for the family of Shanquella Robinson, but the delay between Mexico having to ask permission, then they have to go through, run it through the treaty, then time elapsed and the U.S. has to give them an answer, then the U.S. gives them, this game of telephone can end and things can move quicker. We saw what happened in the Matthew Taylor case. We saw what happened in the Ohio students case. When justice moves in America, it moves swift. Again, Mexico seems to be putting everything in America's thing, saying the ball's in your court. The question is, why is America not throwing the ball back over quicker? Don't let anybody tell you that extradition to Mexico takes a long time. There's only certain things that you can fight for an extradition. One, it's not you, right? It's going to be hard to say that when one, we have you on camera, but that's not the it's not you that they argue about. The it's not you is, no, I'm not Desjanée Jackson, so you cannot take me over. And Desjanée's saying, oh, but it wasn't me that did her. Baby, go argue that in a Mexico court of law. Nancy Grace said it. Legal experts have said it. And the legal experts is not, maybe they don't have experience in foreign extradition, but extradition does not take a long time, especially when there is that American-Mexico treaty. There are a million narco cases when they have extradited people in 4 days. There are a million cases when they have extradited people within 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It is going on over a month. The paperwork should not take this long to be approved. And let me tell you something about high-profile cases, and Nancy Grace and lawyers that work with high-profile cases can't co-sign. Extraditing from, let's just say, Oregon to North Carolina is the same as extraditing from Oregon to Mexico. There is a treaty set up for this, just like states have separate treaties, okay? Because we are a nation of interrelated, separate but interrelated member states. That is the United States. We are kind of built on the Roman Empire model where they had separate but interconnected member nations. We have member states. I'm not going to take you on to a U.S. Constitution class, constitutional law class, but the evidence is out there. All right? This can happen quickly. And let me tell you something. Once the paperwork is in front of a judge, boom, it moves quickly. There's only a few things that you can contest for. One, I am not Desjanée Jackson, right? I am not Khalil Cook. I am not Malik Dreyer. Outside of that, there's very few defenses for extradition. And you can't say your U.S. rights are being your U.S. rights are being trampled on. However, we already have a treaty in Mexico. Let's get into what we're talking about with what the FBI, right? Now, this happened on January 13th, 2023. It took me a moment to actually get it transcribed. There was a press release that was put out. This is the press release. It happened in La Paz, Baja California, sir. This is very interesting. I think a lot of people have overlooked this, but I want to just bring it to y'all. The governor of the state, Victor Manuel Castro Cosillo, announced that he requested the support of the United States ambassador to Mexico, Ken Salazar, so that the neighboring country captures and returns over the authorities. Now, what does that tell you from the beginning? They've done everything they need to. America is dragging their feet on this so much that he has literally gone to the United States ambassador to Mexico saying, what is going on? We know that there's a treaty. We exchange criminals all the time. Why is this taking so long? And this is a high profile case, and this is making Mexico look bad. Okay, what is going on? Now, the woman, they did give a hint as to who it was. As we know, when the warrant came out, nobody's name on it. Anybody but a thinking man would be like, okay, clearly it's Dejanay Jackson. However, they cannot name anybody by law, but they said the woman identified as presumed responsible for the murder of the young American Shanquella Robinson, who died last October. We're assuming this is still Dejanay. Again, they did not say Dejanay's name, not because they don't think they have enough information. That's the way things are done in Mexico because of what happens with the narcos and with this and with that. They do not release the names of people they want for questioning because one, they might, people might get there and tamper with them and get them to say something they shouldn't, or even worse, they might not make it to court. They might not even wake up, okay? Now, they said, we have asked the U.S. to capture and deliver to us, right? This woman. The approach was made during the most recent visit of the American to Los Cabos last December, and according to the president, there is very good willingness on the part of the ambassador and the U.S. consulate to follow up on the investigation in this case. Following up on the investigation, that means, one, that they're trying to say that America dropped the ball. However, from the American side, it looks like they're considering whether to keep the ball in their playground, and they may be stalling for time. For his part, the Attorney State General Daniel De La Rosa recalled that there is already an injunction for the crime of femicide against this person, okay? So they already put a warrant. This is a translated thing. So they already put a warrant, okay? The red Interpol file was requested. So if you don't know what the Interpol file, you have to get basically all your evidence, almost like you're retrying a case. You have to get all your evidence, like you are retrying, right? Retrying a case. Well, not retrying, but litigating the case, right? So you need to get all the evidence together. This is witness statements. This is whatever evidence. This is what you're going to do to convict her in a court of law. Then Interpol reviews that to see, okay, so is there enough evidence here to issue a red warrant? Again, they don't go and see, is this person guilty? They say, under the existing laws that we understand from both countries, is there enough to warrant a trial? Is there enough to warrant a trial? Hence, if I say, you ate all my Oreos and my Nutter Butters too, right? The little peanut-shaped cookies. Yes, y'all know what those are. And I'm like, so for that, I want you here in Mexico for murder. Interpol will look up and be like, yeah, eating somebody's Oreos and pecan sandies does not rise to the level of murder charges. We are not going to approve this, okay? But let's get back into this. Okay, so they already assembled the file for Interpol, which is their evidence and how they're going to try it and why they think she's guilty under Mexico law. They've submitted it to Interpol. That is the red card. They submitted for an immigration alert for entry and departure from the United States. Now, a lot of people think that they are about to submit it, the way I read the thing, they've already submitted the immigration alert for entry and departure for the country. It has long been rumored, and I do believe this, especially with the FBI questioning them. Those people are not in Jamaica. They're not hiding. They cannot leave or enter the US. Come on, y'all. Even people that got like cases for like, I don't know, running credit card frauds or whatever, even they, when they get in trouble or when they are under investigation, you are not allowed to leave the country, or you know what I'm saying, right? As well as they put in a request for immediate extradition with the support of the Attorney General's office, the FGR. Now, I have long held that Dejanay is under some type of provisional arrest. If she is not, and the people think that they are naysayers, then I would like the naysayers to actually address and actually go on a warpath about how come someone that has a warrant for arrest has either not been at least isolated, waiting for this paperwork to be approved or not. Again, we saw with the Ohio murders, paperwork went through like that. Don't listen to people when they tell you, oh, it's because of a neighboring state. To extradite from state to state is the same as extraditing to a different country if there is an extradition treaty, especially when it comes to Mexico. If you read the actual statutes and the law of the states, they literally treat, when under the statutes for extradition, they only talk about states. Why? Because this is about reading legal code. Yes, and everybody's like, see, this counts with a state. But then the legal code will tell you, go deeper into the legal code and find out what do they classify as a state. When you go into the legal code in North Carolina about what, or Ohio or Pennsylvania or California, these are all the states, as what classifies as a state, it can either be a state in the United States or a foreign country in which a treaty fits. State means both of those. So when you read the legal canon, oh, it's a state. No, you have to read deeper into the legal canon and find out what the definition of state is, okay? That's, I think, why people are getting so messed up saying, oh, it's a completely different thing if it's in another state. But a state is a member of the United States or an Indian reservation territory or a foreign nation for which a treaty for extradition exists. Okay, let's go into this. In addition, the governor mentioned that nothing is off the table for the Cabo6. They have not offered impunity or immunity to any of the Cabo6. He mentioned that possible omissions and criminal omissions, lies, but also being a co-conspirator, right? Or a co-defendant in the murder trial, it's being investigated. For which reason, a series of interviews with the victim's friends have also been requested. They want to interview the Cabo6, right? They're presumed, hold on, y'all, hold on. Sorry about that. You know, when the boyfriend calls, I answer. Anyway, listen, they're saying that, let me get back to what I was saying. So it's being investigated. In fact, interviews on international collaboration have also been requested from the North American authorities so that they can send the interviews of the friends who are related to the unfortunate event. He is sure that there will be no impunity in the case, which is being investigated objectively and comprehensively in collaboration with the United States authorities. The fact that the U.S. are also investigating means that there's a good chance that the U.S. may deny extradition and they want to prosecute it here themselves. Again, let's look into what a lot of people miss. They are assuming or telling us that interviews with the Cabo6 and the FBI have already taken place. They want, in unison, for them to also share what their interviews told them, but they also want to do their own interviews. They want to do their own interviews. How would that work? in collaboration with the FBI. They would ask the FBI to bring them in, even though the FBI is questioning because they have their own prosecutors, their own this. The prosecutors would go there with translators. The FBI would invite them into a room because it needs to be with FBI cooperation. And the Mexican officials would question the Cabo6 themselves. That's how it looks. But you guys, let's go over this because I think it's important. The case is being fully investigated. It is, they want right now to remove and above all obtain the judicial order of the alleged persons responsible for these unfortunate acts and admissions, including a situation of criminal authority, of complicity. It's all being investigated. They are not looking at them as witnesses. They know they are witnesses to the murder, but they're also saying, you might be co-conspirators. It might have been premeditated. You planned, at the very least, you lied to authorities, which was also a crime in the U.S. And now, interesting enough with impunity, right? This is what I want to say. In fact, interviews with international collaboration material have also been requested from the U.S. authorities. The FBI, according to Mexico authorities, have already interviewed the Cabo6, and Mexico wants to know what was said, and they want a chance to interview them too. But here's what I want to say about Mexico. It sounds good, and you talk about the fact that there's no impunity, and this might be why it looks like the U.S. is trying to see if they can get involved and just take over this. But let's actually look at what it was. Why isn't the doctor arrested? Why aren't those 2 police officers arrested? Why isn't the official Julio in Baja California Sur? Why hasn't he been arrested? Why haven't they taken into custody? Why haven't charges been filed against them? You say, why haven't they been questioned? You say that you're not offering any impunity, but it seems like you're only not offering impunity to the Cabo6. What about your own people? Because yes, the Cabo6 are guilty. Yes, they deserve to, in my opinion, spend the majority, if not the rest of their lives in jail. Absolutely. But if we take a step back, what about the safety of the next Shanquella, the next person that goes to Mexico, and they have the unfortunate event of calling Carolina the doctor, of having those 2 police officers there, of having that government official there, that at best are so incompetent that you can be murdered by your friends and they will let it go. And at worst are so corrupt that all your friends that murder you have to do is like throw some dollars and they'll look the other way. And before you know it, it is taking months to get any type of justice. Y'all, Mexico says they're not going to have impunity for any of the Americans. What about their own citizens that need to be held accountable? I want to hear about that too. This does not mean that I am letting the Cabo6 off. No. Listen, we already got our pitchforks out about them. We already know what it is. But what about everybody involved? Let there be justice for Shanquella, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, and nationality. Y'all, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you later. It looks like there's going to be a lot of updates coming up this week. The fact that they came and spoke about this lets me know that, listen, they made America look bad. It makes me think that America is going to find a way to be like, here you go. But what can we take away? The Cabo6 have already been interviewed by the FBI. This was talked about in Joe Bruno, the reporter, said this was also talked about by Nancy Grace. On top of that, they want to conduct their own interviews, and none of the Cabo6 were getting any type of plea deals or immunity. But like I said, what about your own Mexican citizens? What about that? Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you later. Bye.